What up, though? What up, though? It's the incomparable Diesel Greasel. You are tuned in to know what I'm saying. We got some things we need to talk about today. Grand Rising, good morning, whatever you subscribe to. I hope wherever you are, life is lifing in a positive direction for you. Because as we all know, man, life is unpredictable. So, man, I had a rough night's sleep, to be honest with y'all. Didn't really sleep as well as I normally would, man, because uh someone I was in a relationship with in the past reached out to me. One of them long ass paragraphs. You know what I'm saying? And men know when you open up that message and it keep going, you're about to be some shit. About to be some shit. She ain't sending no nudes. Because if she's sending nudes, ain't no paragraph with them. So it's about to be some shit. And this person expressed their truth, which I'm all for. And a lot of times in those situations, it's not comfortable, man. When people are uh, reiterating some of the things that you may have done wrong in your relationship, and they're able to describe them in pretty vivid detail, so you know it was real to them. You know, like this impacted them, and just having to accept, like, damn, I did do those things. I did do those things. So initially, your instinct is like, well, shit, but you did this. This is why I did this. I think that's human nature. I think that's the majority of us. Um, is we want to explain our actions. We want to explain our reactions. We want to be afforded an opportunity to put what we did into context, because a lot of times we know what we did on the surface level. If you just look at the action itself, it's not going to paint us in a positive light. And so we want to tell that story. Much like when a nigga's in court and he about to get sentenced and he wants to talk to the jury or talk to the judge. He wants to have a chance to tell his story before you make your ultimate decision. And so, the young lady got to express some of her truths. As a byproduct of that, I got to express some of my truths. And for the most part, it was healthy. It was all text messages, so it wasn't no raising of the voice and yelling, which is good. I prefer to text when you have these conversations because, I can get emotional. I can be a pretty emotional person, so I just like time to frame my thoughts and express them instead of talking out of emotion, because you can't walk that shit back. So, um, I validated how she felt because she had some very valid points. Essentially, what she was saying, like, she listed some of the things that I've said in our worst arguments. It was like a greatest hits of narcissism, the greatest hits of assholes, the greatest hits of things that you should not say to people that you care about. And it was tough reading them things, man. I'll be honest. And then, I apologize. I took as much ownership as I could take in a text message. Definitely, to me, the ultimate form of apology and regret is, if given an opportunity to handle things differently, would I? Absolutely, 100%. If given an opportunity to navigate some of those situations I encountered in that last relationship differently, I would definitely apply what I've learned and try to navigate it in a more healthy manner for all parties involved. And also just be more considerate to be more graceful when dealing with another person, because in the heat of the moment, man, it's hard to remain graceful and compassionate because all you're focused on is your pain and your perspective and how they made you feel. So that's why it's awesome to be able to have those conversations with someone who can be a mirror for you so you can see those uncomfortable truths. So hopefully you can get it right next time. Not even saying that you can get it right with that person if y'all try to rekindle, just that you learn the things that you need to learn in that relationship cycle so you don't take those same patterns and traumas into your next situation. Because as we all know, there's more likely than not there will be a next situation for most of us, because that's just how humans are, man. Like, we're searching for connection. No one really wants to be totally alone, you know. Um, so it was interesting. And so, like, right when I found myself getting ready to play the quid pro quo and tit for tat, I didn't, because that kind of takes away from this person's experience of getting what they need to get out. And so I slept, best as I could. Woke up, it was still on my mind. Woke up, read the messages again, in a sober mind because I was kind of high when they hit me up last night. And it stung a little more this morning without the weed in my system. Still stung, but it's a necessary thing, man. Like, growth is uncomfortable. Like, we have to get past the notion that growth is not uncomfortable. It's extremely uncomfortable. I always equate growth to working out, being in the weight room. When you work out, the next day you're gonna feel that pain. If you didn't feel that pain, then you ain't gonna have no gains. You didn't do what was necessary for your body to get what it needed to become strong. You know, and that's kind of where I am, man. I'm allowing the growing pains to exist so I can get what I need from it. So I can just be a better person, man. I'm 43 and I can't be repeating the patterns that I was doing in my 30s and 20s. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I can't even repeat the patterns I was doing at 42 because that's being stagnant. And so, like I said, man, it's a lot to take in. It's definitely a lot to take in. And it got me to thinking about a couple things. First one was this, man. People struggle to feel good about themselves unless they feel superior to others. And as always, most of the stuff I'm talking about, I'm speaking from experience, man. I'm sharing my perspective with you, hoping other people can find their perspective. And people struggle to feel good about themselves unless they feel superior to others. And I think that's all people, man. Maybe it's just black people. I don't know. But I think that's all people. And so, it's been a lot of discussion about um, Simone Biles and her husband, Jonathan Owens. They went on a podcast and they talked about their relationship and how they met. And of course, that just got the average person to talking, and everyone has an opinion about what they would do or what they wouldn't do in other people's situations. And so many women were in the comments kind of putting Simone down about what they wouldn't accept or what they just don't agree with how she got her husband or some dynamics of their marriage. And I'm like, man, why do these people even care about this shit? Like, why? Why when Keke was it Keke Palmer? Why when Keke Palmer and her baby dad was going through it, do so many people care about these things? Why when Jada Pinkett bald head ass was airing all her and Will business out there, were people so emotionally invested? And I think it just comes down to people struggle to feel good about themselves unless they feel superior to others. Most of us don't feel like we're winners in life unless we know who lost, unless there's a clear loser. We can't view ourselves as a winner unless we can draw a clear distinction between us and those that we deem not as successful. Because we need to feel good about ourselves. And the easiest way to feel good about yourselves is to compare yourself to someone that you feel that is not on your level in some aspect of life, whatever aspect of life you're comparing yourself in or to. I think that we as people have to find better ways to love ourselves without tearing people down. A lot of times when you're in a relationship and things start going south and you start talking that boundary shit and you need to get away from this person, our initial instinct is to separate ourselves from people so we can become better. And that's no difference. That's to me, that's no different than trying to make yourself feel superior so you can feel better about yourself. The easiest way for us to gauge who we are in life or where we are in life is to look to our left and right and compare ourselves to other people. The problem with that is like it's an old quote that says comparison is the thief of joy. Because more often than not, when you start comparing things, it makes you not appreciate what you have as much as you did prior to the comparison, unless it's one of those comparisons where you feel that you were superior in this situation, And then you walk away with a false sense of inflation, feeling better about yourself at the potential expense of someone else feeling less about themselves. That's all a part of the energy exchange that we as humans experience. It's all about the dynamics, man, of the lie that the devil told us in the Garden of Eden. And that's, there ain't enough good to go around. Like most of us really operate from the perspective of there's not enough good to go around. Most of us operate from the perspective that in order for me to win, you have to lose. When the reality is that no one has to lose in this thing we call life. However, we do all have to adjust our perspectives of what is success for us. A lot of times the envy and frustration that we feel comes from our metrics of success that are created by other people because we're comparing our life to their lives or our experiences to their experiences without ever just taking a step back and just reassessing what is going to make you happy. Because a lot of times, man, what other people find happiness in, we don't necessarily find that same happiness in. But we succumb to that illusion of what they're doing can make us happy because we really just want the feeling that they have of being elated. We want their feeling of happiness. And then we equate their feeling of happiness to the activity we saw them engaging in when we saw them as happy. When in reality, that activity could have very little to do with their happiness in that moment. And a healthy person, that sense of happiness and fulfillment existed long before that activity started, and it just manifested and showed some other signs of it in that moment that were maybe more easily recognizable by others. But the true happiness began for that person long before they engaged in that activity or had that level of success. Now, that doesn't mean that when you're working towards goals and things like that, you can't be happy about your achievement. But long before you achieve with that goal, you had to be happy about your efforts and progress, which allowed you to keep doing it to even get to the point of realizing that moment of success, that pinnacle, that apex. It all comes down to how we feel about ourselves. And so I would challenge each and every one of us to start feeling better about ourselves without needing to feel superior to anyone else. Then that's when we really begin to embody the mind of Christ, man, when we can love others and be happy for others and ourselves without having to draw a clear distinction between us and them. So we can frame ourselves in a perspective that is in line with who we think we are. I know that's a lot. But that's just kind of where I'm at today. And so then they got me here about when you think about who you hang out with, the people that you associate with. Usually people gravitate towards people that they think see them as they see themselves. And I'm guilty of this one, man. You think about the people that you hang out with, you think about the people that you interact with, right? Most of the people that you consider your close friends or family, they see you in a way that you see yourselves. Meaning that whatever you acknowledge as your strengths, those people see as your strengths as well. Whatever you perceive to be your areas of opportunity or quote unquote weaknesses, they recognize those as your areas of opportunity as well. And so you are at peace when dealing with these people because you feel that they see you in the manner that you see yourselves. A lot of times we have conflict with people when they see us in a way that we don't agree with. But a lot of times we don't want to associate with people who don't see us in the way that we see ourselves. This is why a lot of times, like, men cheat. When men cheat, and I'm not advocating cheating or saying anyone should accept this. I'm saying that a lot of times when a man is cheating, he's laying up with someone who sees him in the way that he sees himself. Instead of doing right by the woman who was holding him accountable and seeing him in a different light than he's seeing himself. Meaning that man could see himself as the ultimate provider, the ultimate leader, and things of that nature. And his significant other was like, I think you're a good leader, but I think you could lead better by doing this. Yeah, I think that you're a good provider, but I think you could do better by doing this. And in life, there's always room for improvement. Feedback is a gift, but a lot of times we get feedback, it don't feel like a gift. It feels like an attack because we're not ready to accept that level of accountability more often than not. So a dude will go lay up with a chick who thinks he's a boss when he know he ain't shit. A chick who think he got his shit together when he know he ain't got his shit together because his woman lets him know all the time that the shit he not doing right. So a dude will go lay up with that chick who makes him feel like a boss or make him feel like he's the man, even though he got some obvious shortcomings he needs to address in order to get the level of respect he feels he should command in the world. But it's just an example of people gravitating towards people they think see them as they see themselves. If you're a creative, you want to be around people who view you in your creative light. If you're a musician or you're an artist, a rapper, songstress, you want to be around people who view you in that light, people who view you as that. If you're a rapper, you want to be around people who introduce you as, yo, this is my friend Diesel. He's a rapper. That's who you want to be around with because he sees you as you see yourself. If you have a successful career that you're proud of, you want people to recognize that and see you as you see yourself. And you're not going to be around people who don't share the same view of you that you do. The problem with that is that our true growth comes from those who challenge our notions of ourselves. Our true growth comes from those who see us in a different light than we see ourselves and are fortunate enough to be able to share that perspective with us in a manner that we can understand so we can see what they see and make any necessary changes that we feel may need to be made in order to achieve the goals that we're wanting to achieve in that set of circumstances. Perspective is a beautiful thing when used appropriately. And so I say all that to say that I guess we have to have people around us that we trust, So when they tell us what they see, when they share that perspective with us, we don't take it as a personal attack. I know that's hard, extremely hard. We understand that it's coming from a place of love, no matter how it may be delivered. People get so caught up on delivery, how a person said it, that we miss some amazing messages from people because it's not presented in the wrapping paper we think it should be. That's a lot of us caring more about the messenger than we do the message, which it's an oversight to say the least, because the message is the most valuable part of the interaction. The messenger is vital to the interaction because the messenger has to deliver the message. But what matters more to you, the person that brings your mail or that you get your mail? Does it matter to you whether it's Amazon, UPS, or FedEx delivering your package? Or does it matter to you that you get your package and the contents are intact? So while we got to focus on not taking things personal if it's coming from a place of love. And if you're dealing with people that you don't know if they love you, then that's a red flag. That's a sign that you really need to evaluate that relationship to see what it is. Because if you're dealing with people that you don't trust their intentions, then you're not being true to yourself. You're not doing yourself a favor. You're robbing yourself of peace if you don't trust the person's intentions. It's tough, man. It's tough because none of us are perfect. All of us are looking for meaningful connections. All of us are wanting to be accepted for who we are, as well as wanting to be pushed to be more than we are. And we want it to be a healthy balance. We want that person to love us for who we are, but give us enough of the stuff when we need it to want to be better, but not make us feel insecure about the progress that we haven't made. That's a lot. But ultimately, it's a lot of responsibility when dealing with people when it comes to matters of the heart. Ultimately, we have to be more mindful. We have to handle people with more care. We have to really treat people like we want to be treated. And I think that's one of the biggest things that most of us are just lacking is, really take the time to think about, if someone did this to me, if this person, not even someone, if this person that I'm doing this to did this exact same thing to me, how would I feel? What emotions would it suffer? What emotions would it surface? Would this trigger me? How might I react? And if you are okay with that person replicating that action, then that means that the action is in line with your spirit or your heart or who you believe yourself to be. And by all means, you should do that. But if you find yourself being honest and saying, damn, if they did this to me, it's going to hurt me. That's that first line of defense that God gives you to be a better person. That's that first line of defense that God gives you to build your heaven on earth. It's just to be honest with yourself about how this would make me feel. Because if you're willing to put on them big boy drawers or big girl panties and swallow that pill when it's your turn, I can respect that. If I tell you to kiss my ass, I'm fully prepared for you to tell me to kiss your ass. It's not going to be any tears shed. It's not going to be any misunderstandings. I'm not going to misconstrue this interaction as I'm a victim. You can't be a victim when someone is matching your energy. And that's going to be a whole nother show right there in itself. You can't be a victim when someone is matching your energy. That's not a victim. You're a participant. A lot of us need to learn the difference between being a participant and a victim in life. Because a lot of this shit is self-imposed, man. A lot of this is cause and effect. A lot of this is I made a poor decision and this person made an equally poor decision. And now I'm saying that this person's poor decision is more poor than mine or poorer than mine. As opposed to being objective and saying, damn, neither one of us are very good people in this set of circumstances. What can I do to become a better person in this set of circumstances? And maybe the other person will do the same. And maybe you inspire them to do the same because they'll see you leading by example. Much like one of y'all was leading by example when y'all did the fuck shit. Because that's what matching energy is shit. Someone led by example and you followed it. But we rarely match energy when it comes to positive energy. We rarely match that blessing energy. Like it ain't in us to match that blessing energy. It's in us to match that, oh, fuck me, so it's fuck you energy. Because deep down inside, that's how a lot of us feel anyway. But we got this thing called God and the societal standards that have us feeling like this isn't right. I shouldn't feel this way. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. Just be willing to allow someone else to feel that way when the shoe's on the other foot. And that's growth. That's maturity. That's emotional intelligence. That's reciprocity. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. But I can keep ranting and ranting. I'm gonna wrap this up. As always, man, it's a pleasure. Appreciate anyone tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. Things you want me to talk about, feel free to hit me up. Inbox. I know a lot of y'all like to sneaking on me because y'all don't want people to know what's y'all with this egregiousness. Y'all want it to be old Diesel, but it's all right. It's all right. I don't mind, man. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So I don't mind having those difficult conversations. I actually enjoy difficult conversations more than the ones that aren't so difficult because I like to resolve things. I like growth. I like complexity and problems. So we can simplify things, and so that's just kind of who I am at my core. But I'd like to thank y'all, man. I'm the incomparable Diesel Greasel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Professionally Black if you aren't. Like, share, subscribe. Stars. Need them stars. Make sure you give me some stars, man. I need them. Other than that, man, I hope y'all have a good day.